Hi Diane, I know how often you drive. Learning to drive a standard shift car will be beneficial for you and will allow you to drive any car that you get into, including a race car if you ever get the chance. If you listen closely and follow directions, you will be able to drive whatever car you wish. Today, we will be learning how to start the car. We will practice this several times, and once you have mastered the skill, we will learn how to drive the car. How will you listen?
Closely.
Good. You should be watching my demonstration the whole time and listen closely. Can you remember what foot we use for the gas and brake pedals?
The right one.
Nice job remembering. Can you tell me how many pedals a standard shift car has?
3.
That's right. Do you remember what the third pedal is called?
The clutch.
Great, the third pedal is the clutch. What foot do we use for the clutch?
The left one.
Awesome. You use your left foot for the clutch. What is the clutch used for?
Shifting gears.
Fantastic. The clutch is used for shifting gears up and down. Now that we reviewed some simple facts we learned, I am going to teach you how to start the car. Starting the car is the first step in learning how to drive a stick shift. Starting a standard shift car is different than starting an automatic car. There are 5 steps to starting the car. Okay. First, you need to make sure the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral. Second, put the key in the ignition, but do not turn the key yet. Third, press the left foot on the clutch all the way to the floor. Fourth, turn the key while your foot is on the clutch. Finally, once the car is running, remove your foot from the clutch. I'll repeat the steps one more time as I demonstrate. First, you need to check to make sure the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral. Second, put the key in the ignition, but do not turn the key yet. Third, press your left foot on the clutch all the way to the floor. Fourth, turn the key while your foot is on the clutch. Finally, once the car is running, remove your foot from the clutch. Say it with me, please. Ready? First, you need to check to make sure
emergency brake is pulled.
the car is in neutral. Second, put the key in the ignition, but do not turn the key yet. Third, press your left foot on the clutch all the way to the floor. Fourth, turn the key while your foot is on the clutch. Finally, once the car is running, remove your foot off the clutch. Good job. Now listen only. Is the first thing I do check to make sure the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral? Yes. How do I know? Because the first step is to check to make sure the emergency brake is pulled. Do I put the key in the ignition? Yes. How do I know? Because the second step is to put the key in the ignition. Do I turn the key after I put the key in the ignition? No. How do I know? Because turning the key is the fourth step. Diane, after I check to make sure the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral, do I put the key in the ignition?
Yes.
Good. How do you know?
Because that's the second step.
Very good. I can tell you are doing a great job listening and keeping your eyes on me. You need to put the key in the ignition before we move on to the next step. After we put the key in the ignition, do we turn the key?
No.
That's right. How do you know?
Because the next step is to put your foot on the clutch all the way to the floor.
That's very good. I can tell that you are doing a great job listening and keeping your eyes on me. You need to put the key in the ignition before we move on to the next step. After we put the key in the ignition, do we turn the key?
No.
That's right. How do you know?
Because that is the fourth step.
Nice job remembering. Now that the key is in the ignition, do I press my right foot on the clutch all the way to the floor?
No.
Great. How do you know?
Because you have to use your left foot.
Very good. You use your left foot to push the clutch all the way to the floor. After using your left foot to push the clutch all the way to the floor, do I turn the key?
Yes.
Fantastic job remembering. Now that the car is running, is it time to put the car in gear?
No.
Awesome. How do you know?
Because the next step is to take your foot off the clutch.
Great job listening. I think you're ready to try starting the car. Okay. All right. Remember first, you need to check to make sure the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral. Second, put the key in the ignition, but do not turn the key yet. Third, press your left foot on the clutch all the way to the floor. Fourth, turn the key while your foot is on the clutch. Finally, once the car is running, remove your foot from the clutch. Good job. Can you say these steps on your own?
Yes. First, I have to check to make sure the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral. Then, I have to put the key into the ignition. Third, I have to depress the clutch all the way to the floor with my left foot. Finally, then I get to turn the key and start the car. Finally, I get to take my foot off the clutch.
Awesome job. Now it's your turn to start the car. What do you do first?
First, I check to make sure that the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral.
How do you know?
Because the first step is to make sure the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral.
Nice job remembering. That is a very important first step. Now that we have made sure the emergency brake is pulled and the car is in neutral, what do we need to do?
We need to put the key in the ignition.
Awesome. How do you know?
Because that is the second step.
Great job remembering. Now that the key is in the ignition, is it time to turn the key?
No.
That's right. How do you know?
Because after I put the key in the ignition, I have to do the third step, which is to step on the clutch all the way to the floor.
Way
with my
to
left
go!
foot.
You are doing a wonderful job. After pressing your left foot on the clutch all the way to the floor, is it time to turn the key?
Yes.
Very good. Now that you have started the car, what is the last step?
To remove my foot from the clutch.
Amazing job, you did it. You started the car. I would love if you could tell me how you started the car.
The first step was to check to make sure the emergency brake was pulled and the car was in neutral. The second step was to put the key in the ignition. The third step was to put my left foot on the clutch and push it all the way to the floor. The fourth step was to turn the key. The final step was to remove my foot from the clutch.
Awesome job. Now that you know how to start the car, we can start learning how to put the car in gear. You are now one step closer to learning how to drive a standard shift car. Diane, can you do me a favor and start my car and make it warm so when we leave?
Sure.